Hello everybody and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we'll be creating a base converter in Python that will take any base 10 number as an input along with a base and output that number in that base. As an example, if we want to convert the number 4 into base 2, it will output us 100. If you recall, 100 in base 2 is 4. This works for any number up to base 37. So if we try in base 23, it gives us our value. And the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the alphabet represents digits that would be greater than 9 because we cannot represent those with our ordinary 10 digits. So let's jump into the code. Okay, so here we have the basic Python IDE. That is the default. You can use whatever IDE you want, but I prefer the Python idle. Okay, so the first step in our quest to write a base converter is to create the function that will commence this operation. So let's just call it convert base. You can call it whatever you want. It does not have to be convert base. And then basically inside this array, we're going to pass a string, so we're going to first want to convert that string into a number. So we just use the int function to convert these two variables into a number. Okay, now that we have that, we want to create a boolean that will store the state of this function. Are we done looping through and getting the bit values of our number? So while this boolean is false, then we want to check first if the number is greater than or equal to base. Because if it isn't, then there's no point in doing the conversion. So we say that x is equal to number modulo base. So basically what this does is it's taking the remainder when you divide number by base. Then we want to append this to an array. Let's call it num array. And then we'll append it. Then we want to append it as a string because that's what we're going to be returning. But now that we've created that, you have to initialize the array up above. Okay. Next we check, are we done? So we divide by base and then round down. And then if it is less, then we want to store it in the array again. So we store it as y. And then we append it to the array. Okay. Now, if we have reached this part of the program, that means we are done looping through the number. However, if we're not, then we must round down. The number gets rounded down, and then we loop through that part again. Now that we pretend that we have finished this part of the program, so now we have to return something. So let's call the value that we're returning char, and then we create a for loop to loop through the array and get each value and append it to the string. So we get the length of the array and we subtract by 1 to stop it from going out of bounds. And then we want to append from the back because that our algorithm gets the string, the char, from the back of the array. So we want to the first integer in the array is the last integer that we want to display. So basically we have to go backwards, and since this loop will not add the last element, we have to add the last element as well. And then basically we just have to print the char. So now this will do up to base 10. However, after that, say x is 10. We can't append two numbers because then the digits will overflow. That's why in hexadecimal and numbers of bases above 10 use letters. So that's why we're going to add an alphabet array up here that we can call on to get our letters. And then we can say that if x is greater than 9, we just set x equal to the alphabet at the index of x minus 10, because we want to offset it by 10, since we are using the first 10 are the digits of the the numerical digits. And we want to do the same for this. If y is greater than 9, then y is equal to alphabet 1 minus 10. Okay, now that we have our function done, we must create the actual loop. So let's say while true, and we will take an input from the user. So we'll ask the user what number they want to select. So number you want to convert, and then we also will take the base. And then once we get those two values, we just have to chuck them into our function. And then that's all. Now we just save our program, and when we run, it will, oh, my bad, forgot a colon. If we save and then run, oh, I'm doing kind of bad right now. Okay. We save and run, so we send our, so let's just say 4 to base 2, and it returns 100. Now if you recall, 100 and base 2 is equal to 4. This works for anything. So like if we had a big number, say like 4534, and we can even go up to base 36. It'll give you a value. It works for any number you've tried. All the way up to base 37. After base 37, it won't work because we have not given it enough letters. It'll give us an out of bounds error if we try that. However, up to base 37, it works fine. Okay, well that's it for today. Thank you for staying to the end of this video. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like and subscribe.